Yeah, well, I first met Bruce, it must have been sometime early '72, I would guess, with some meeting with Raymond Chow, actually, and also with another American businessman who I then began to work with, a guy called Andy Vaughn, who's now started up Coralco, and now he's got Synergy and so forth. Well, Bruce certainly made an impression on you. There was no question about this. It wasn't his stature. It was, I mean, he really did, and I hate to use the word, but he had a charisma. I mean, he really seemed to be a few inches off the ground. He never really quite touched the ground, you know. there was a whip-cracking vitality about the guy. And of course, you know, rather than shake your hand, you'll demonstrate his, the ability to send his foot past your nose, clearing it by at least a couple of tenths of an inch at about 140 miles an hour, and by way of introduction. One thing that it's really not a story about a personal meeting with Bruce, but I wrote a documentary about Bruce Lee. So I was going back through a lot of footage and a lot of contemporary text and publications and recordings and so forth and so on. And I was reading. He did write quite a bit of stuff on martial arts, and he developed his own style, which was very minimalist. It really was. It was a most undemonstrative style of martial arts. And all the, if you like, philosophy perhaps which went behind that, or at least. And then when you read all this, and then you see Bruce on the screen, and then instead of this very sort of soft, introspective personality, it goes whack. You know, I mean, what he did on the screen was absolutely no relation whatsoever to what he was teaching or studying. But Bruce understood cinema, and he made it look terrific. So there is a big difference between reality and cinema, obviously, but he certainly knew how to make what he was doing look great to an audience. This is not to say that what he was saying and thinking and doing wasn't absolutely real. He was a brilliant martial artist. It's just that it wasn't the martial arts that he was teaching.
Personally, I'm a fan of Bruce Lee very much. Not only he portrayed a certain heroic characters which reflects it to the world since his death, but personally, I have a lot of respect for his own personal philosophy as not only as a martial artist, but as a human being. Bruce Lee gave me, and what affected my life and my career, is that his drive and his beliefs and confidence. I don't have a favorite Bruce Lee film. I like them all, because they represent a certain classic fight scenes in action movies, right? Like the Big Boss, Fist of Fury. There's a couple of classic scenes when he fought the Japanese, in the Japanese dojo, or is it Whale Dragon when he fought in Rome with Chuck Norris, So they all my favorites. able to deliver his physical capability in one shot throughout with no cuts, and that shows tremendous amount of martial art capability. As in many other action hero on films, and you can see it's shot by shot, and many shots are cut together, and perhaps there's a double involved, but as in Bruce Lee case, it's totally genuine. Like it's a famous line that Bruce Lee said in this movie Mr. Fury, Chinese are no sick man. Basically, he's trying to tell the rest of the world that Chinese is just as athletic, is just as aggressive and energetic or physical capable as any other race in the world.
I saw Bruce Lee in 1972 in Golden Harvest movie studio. And that time I'm shooting a movie called Hapkido, and he came to visit us, and with Chuck Norris. And in that time I with Mao Ying and Hong Gambo together, and he there, and everybody's very shocked, and we heard his name for a long time. And also I saw some of his movie, Big Boss. Therefore, he's just like the hero, in our mind. And therefore, the people told us that Bruce Lee is here now. And then everybody is shocked, and everybody is so happy. And then he's so kind and so nice, and to talk to us, everybody, you do martial arts, and then he just talk to you. And then after that, he want to show some of his technique, how's Jeet Kune Do, and how to use the punch, how to use the kick. Therefore, he just want me to work with him, and then to show me how to punch, how to kick. And in that time, there's many reporters there and take pictures. And therefore, I have some picture with him. It's a black and white pictures, And I just really think he's a very good martial artist, and also he also a very nice person, and he do all kind of martial arts. Actually, when I in the studio shooting, and then he also there, because he has an office in the studio, and then he's welcome me to go to see him. Therefore, when I have time, I always go to his office, and then he show me how to training his arm and how strong, and even you cannot pin even his skin, And also we do the kill sao, and want to see how strong to do your arm. He said that if people punch you, you block, you hurt already. Therefore, and also he showed me it's a very important thing is a weight, And then he just used one hand to bring up for 100 pounds to do like that. Yeah, it's surprising. He's not really tall and very big size, and it's internal. Mostly it's internal and external to combine. Some people just do external, some people only do internal, but it's his combination. Therefore, he can use the internal powers. His punch, his kick, and his movement, and is fantastic. And it's important that also because we are actor too. Therefore, and many people in the movie cannot show the best technique, and also to let the people really attract the people. But he can show all the movement, even the eyes looking and the hand. This is very fantastic, and then we learn a lot of things from him, except martial arts, also movies. A long time ago, they do the action movies. They fighting for at least about 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but they want to show the technique of kung fu style, how to block, how to move the movement, all kind of things. But they can just like a normal cannot fight for 10, 20 minutes. It's just joke, And therefore, he just create the new action. Just one punch, one kick, and then you just finish it. But for the real life, it's the truth about this. Therefore, I think that people really feel he's so great. I think from this it starts. They say, wow, wow, this punch is so powerful, this kick is no, one is enough already. You don't need to do about 10 times, and then you kick this guy, and then falling down, and then up again, and then falling down, up again. He just one, and then finish it. Yeah, before he not use the root punch, he can just move very fast and pump, then you finish it. I just feel that, you know. That's what I like. And Bruce, he asked me in his movie, The Game of the Death, and but he shouldn't have, you know, but he is fortunately he died, and but I think that is a very fantastic movie. And I will be in his side to fight together, you know, to go up to the like a tower, you know, and every thread have one master. You have to pass it, and then you go up to the top. But I really love it if I have a chance to work for him. But if not, but I saw him so many times, and he also told me many different technique. And also one like this kind of punch is he told me how to use this one. And I really thank him. And even about 8 years ago when I stayed in Los Angeles, and also every year they have all his students have a remember him, and his wife Linda is there too. I'm also invited me to go together, and I think everybody is always remember him even when, you know, it's almost 20 years, but the people just feel it. It's just like today happened, Bruce Lee. The most Chinese people in the foreign country, they only to working to be like waiters and like such thing, you know. But since Bruce Lee's movie, and then the people and even movie company, they also use Oriental people more chance to starring the movies, the role. And also they not only feel, oh, when they see Chinese, now they say, hey, you know Kung Fu? The first they ask you this, but before they never ask about that. Who care, you know? But Bruce Lee is really to make Kung Fu famous. It's true. And also make special Chinese actor have more chance to show in the movie in Hollywood. Otherwise, no way.
Well, my relationship was always a musical one, which started with his brother Robert Lee, because we were both in 60s bands here in Hong Kong. And one day I was going into a Chinese restaurant for some dim sum and saw the whole family sitting there. I went up to Robert and said hello. He introduced me to Bruce. And Bruce said, "We need more guailos." And that was it. They dragged me along to a shooting session the next day. And that was my big break into stardom. But even then, on the set, it was music constantly, because Bruce Lee, believe it or not, was actually quite a good singer, an excellent dancer. I believe he was actually a cha-cha champion, and his favorite song was Guantanamera. And I made the mistake of bringing my guitar along, and of course I had to play Guantanamera over and over and over again while he sang and I sang and the whole cast sang, and he would dance. And he was really very good. If he hadn't gotten into acting, he really could have been a singer, I believe. But it was that one song, Guantanamera, and to this day, when I hear it, I think of Bruce. Then subsequently, I got involved in writing some of the lyrics for theme songs. And after he passed away, I was asked to do both the theme song and the incidental music for a tribute film called He's a Legend, He's a Hero, which was actually named after the song. I'm only in the movie for about 2 seconds in The Way of the Dragon, in a back alley behind a restaurant, a mob of Italian gangsters, I think we were supposed to be. And I creep up behind Bruce Lee with an iron bar, but before I hit him, of course, he does his little thing with the nunchaku sticks and knocks me out. Unfortunately, he misjudged the distance just by a few millimeters and actually hit me. And one of the reasons why I've had facial hair all these years is I've got a scar here, which I got from Bruce Lee. Well, he was so apologetic, and he shook my hands and said sorry, you know, must have been 100 times. And I have to tell you that his handshake was so firm and he was so strong that that was actually more painful than the split lip in the end. And I had to, it's all right, Bruce, it's okay, it's okay. But yeah, you know, I have fond memories of that, but I also have a scar, which will not go away. Well, some of them were just picked up from outside Chungking Mansions, which is a famous sort of doss house type of building in Kowloon, where a lot of travelers stay, and there would have been anything from tourists to con men to itinerant salesmen who just happened to be available and who would work all day for 70 Hong Kong dollars, I think the rate was back in those days, and that was high. The locals got a lot less than that. And you wore your own clothes, but they didn't tell you very much, just walk from A to B. And I was actually very fortunate to have a little acting role by being given an iron bar that I actually had to do something with. The rest of the mob just had to pass from the back door through the alleyway and out the other end and look mean. I would say, apart from the music, that the one thing that impressed me most of all was that he just never rested. Not a single second. When we had lunch breaks, tea breaks, coffee breaks, he was trying to either prove something to himself or to perfect some move that he was working on. And I remember particularly he had put a soft drink can up in the rafters of the Golden Harvest studios, and they must have been, I don't know, I'm not a very good judge of distance, but it looked like 12, 16 feet up in the air. And he was just trying to kick this can off that rafter with no trampoline, no nothing, completely unassisted, just going from zero and just leaping up and kicking it. And his body would turn sort of upside down. His foot kicked the can and he sort of did a somersault and landed on his feet. And he just kept going until he did it. And the whole crew, the extras, everyone in the studio was just mesmerized by this, because it was really a superhuman effort. And he just would not stop, not even to take a breath or to wipe his brow, just kept on and on and on until he perfected it. He was a superhero. No, I'm not surprised at all that he's become really an icon and a Chinese hero, and it was really well deserved. But I think it goes a little bit far when you meet a fan who has seen you in the movie and then wants to touch your hand because of that. I mean, that was a little bit frightening, I would say. But, you know, there are Elvis fans and there are Beatles fans and Michael Jackson fans, and why not Bruce Lee fans? Well, I had done quite a lot of lyrics for Joseph Koo, and of course Joseph Koo had done a lot of film work in Hong Kong for Golden Harvest and did, I think, most of the Bruce Lee films. I'd done jingles for him for advertising, various songs. We'd entered a song contest together. And he called me one night and said, Anders, you got to help me. We need an English lyric for the latest Bruce Lee film. Of course, I was overjoyed for the work, but there was a catch to it. He had to have it by the next morning, and the recording session was the next evening. But we managed to do it, and a local pop star of that era, Michael Remedios, sang it. I think did quite a good job, and the rest is history. I still get small royalty checks regularly from screenings of the movies overseas, South America, Europe, all over the place. Oh, Elvis and Bruce actually have a band up there, and they do kind of a hip-hop version of Guantanamera regularly. It drives everyone mad.